Welcome back to Rocky Mountain Gardens. And my video today is something a little bit new and different. You might remember from some of my past videos, I asked your opinion about painting my bookcases in my home library, and I was suggesting using the color black. Well, you won't believe it, but this past week I actually got that project done and I'm going to share it with you today. I really hope you like it as much as I do. So please do leave your comments down below and let me know what you think. And we're not going to waste any more time. Let's just go ahead and get started on this video. My first job will be to remove all of the decorations that I have on the bookcases before I start removing my books. Many of them are very breakable, so I'm going to be careful with them and move them first. Now my next step is to remove all the books. And this is going to take me a little bit longer because while I'm removing them, I'm planning to group them in like categories, different genres. For example, mystery stories. I'll put all my Agatha Christie's together and other mystery writers that I enjoy. And then I'm also going to put my Christmas books all together, all of my religious books and stories. Those are just some examples of the categories I'm going to be using. So I'm going to get started on this next. You can see my shelves are emptied out of my built-in bookcases. I've cleaned out quite a few that were in this little bookcase that I refinished. And then over here in the corner of my library, I have this tall black bookcase, which is empty as well. And here, stacked around the room, are different genres of books. Here I have just some, I don't know what I would call them. I had trouble finding a category for them. Mostly like reference books, types of books. These are all classics. And then this stack here are children's books that I will shelve together. Here I have fairy tale stories, including King Arthur's tales. This small collection are historical fiction. These are nonfiction. Down here on the floor as well. In my chair here, I just have general novels, quite a few. Since mysteries are one of my favorite genres, here I have 2 stacks plus a few on the ground of mystery books. These are all books related to Christianity and religious thought. Over here, I have a small collection of science fiction stories, which is another one of my favorite genres. And this tall, skinny stack right here actually are all of my Reader's Digest condensed books, which I haven't broken into for reading as yet, but I'm not sure I want to read something that has been condensed. I like reading the entire book. But Reader's Digest books are quite pretty and look great sitting on a shelf. And they were quite cheap, of course, as well. Most of these books I got over at the bins, the Goodwill bins. You know, that's where they mark down books. I think most of them were probably about 50 cents a piece at the most. Some were $25. Goodwill has raised their prices. I have over 500 books in my collection. And so now we're going to get back to the shelves and wipe them all down, clean them up really nicely for painting. As I said, the next step is to wash down all of the shelves, make sure they're dust-free and clean for painting tomorrow. And I've got a bucket of water with dish soap in it, and I'm going to go ahead and get started probably right about there on that shelf. So hopefully this won't take too long. So now it is time to remove all of this hardware. Now I'm beginning to do the painting, and I'm starting with cutting in, which means I'm painting in all of the corners and crevices to make it easier for the next step of my painting, which is using a roller. And this will take a while. It's kind of one of those tedious jobs you have to do with a painting job, but in any case, we'll move forward. Well, here is my bookcase after I've cut in with black. I did the outside trim, as you can see, and all the cutting in the corners and little, areas that would be hard to reach with a roller. And this process took me about 2 hours. And it wasn't hard, just a little bit tedious. And so now, guys, I'm going to take a little break and eat some lunch, and then I'm going to be using this roller to complete the job. And that will go much faster than the cutting in did. So I'll be back shortly. Now is the part of the job where I'm using my roller to get these larger spaces and fill in all of the white openings. And it goes very quickly. But down here, I am working on the doors to the cabinets, and this is another detailed part of the project where you'll have to be very careful and get in all those spaces that need to look just right. And, you want it to look perfect when you've completed the job. So you really have to take your time. So I wanted to begin with an overall look at my new bookcases painted black. And I'm sorry to say I didn't film when I was replacing all the books on the shelves, but I did organize them, as I mentioned earlier in this video, by genre. And so I'll just give you a quick look here, a little close-up. For example, these are all of my gardening books. This shelf holds all of my cookbooks. Moving up a shelf, you will see all of my, let's see, I think these are all fiction books. Some I have 2 of. You know how when you're out thrifting and you don't realize, oh my gosh, I already got that book. But I found out when I reorganized them here in my home. In any case, on this shelf here are mysteries. And also on the top shelf, I have quite a few mysteries. That's one of my favorite types of books to read. Even some Nancy Drews. Now up on this top shelf, it's a little whited out from the lamp that I have on this shelf. I have, looks like fiction stories, more fiction. And on the next shelf down, I have lots of fiction, novels. Some of them I think are mixed in with historical novels. And then on the third section of shelves, up here on the top, oops, try to get out some of that light. All those red books are Christmas stories. And then coming down here, let me see what these are. These are nonfiction books. This shelf is all nonfiction. And then this is a book of reference. Sorry, this is a shelf of reference books like dictionaries, my German dictionary, and so on. And then down here, on the other side of this plant, are my children's novels. And it goes all the way down to this shelf here. And on the very bottom shelf, I placed one of my picnic baskets. And, you know, that gives me actually the opportunity to add more books to my shelves eventually. I have a whole shelf empty. So here we are, another look at my shelves farther back. And this was quite a wonderful project to get done. I'm very thankful. And over here are some prayer beads hanging. These were actually given to me by my friend Laura, who lived in Saudi Arabia for a while, and she brought those back as a gift. Isn't that a great souvenir? Now on this standalone bookshelf here, I have all of my books pertaining to my faith, religious books, Bibles, even fictional stories written by some authors who specialize in Christian fiction. And down here on the very bottom, couple of shelves are mostly my science fiction, which is another genre that I enjoy. What a fun thing to do for me. Something I love since I'm a librarian. And since I'm retired, I am now a home librarian. Okay guys, well, I hope you enjoyed seeing how I transformed these shelves from plain white to this deep black, which I think really gives it some, I don't know what the right word is. You know, there is that trend in decorating these days called dark academia. And although my room overall is very light, this adds that academic look to my home library, I think. In any case, I hope you enjoyed the tour and the project that I did. And let me know what you think of the black color, please, below. Also, give me a like if you enjoyed this video. And thank you so much for watching with me as I completed this big project in my home. So until the next time, this is Mary saying bye for now.